I talked about this a bit at the top of the show, and Jordan and I are working on a really important investigative story, yet another one. We released one a few months ago in The Intercept, but we have another one coming up. We don't know the exact date, but hopefully any day now. We've been waiting quite a while. It has to get through legal checks and this and that. So we'll let you know ASAP. But in the meantime, there are a lot of things happening in Flint that don't go reported. There's a lot of racism. This is a majority poor, majority Black city. The racism is astounding, and not just related to the water crisis, but daily life, everything. We spoke about the fact that we're going to do some additional reporting on Breonna Taylor while we're there on our reporting trip. We're going back to Louisville, which we did last summer. Remember that no-knock warrant that ended in police murdering Breonna Taylor? Well, here's another story about a no-knock warrant that's getting basically no attention. So this story comes out of MLive, which is a local, Michigan paper or Michigan outlet. Flint family calls for Justice Department investigation after MSP house raid, Michigan State Police. A Flint family is calling for action after they say their home was wrongly raided by police in April. The raid of the home on Garland Street on Flint's north side was conducted around 10:45 p.m. April 21st and included 40 to 50 officers, said attorney Bill Goodman during a Tuesday, June 8th press conference at Joy Tabernacle Church. Goodman said the raid lasted almost an hour and involved the Michigan Police SWAT team and the Flint Major Crimes Task Force. This is serious stuff, scary stuff. The family later found out a confidential informant gave false information that led police to enter the home searching for a homicide suspect, he said. Renee Dunnigan, 56, and her daughter, Michelle Colston, 28, have lived at the home for the past 10 years. The mother and grandmother are raising Colston's children ages 3, 10, and 14. Think about this. There were 40 to 50 officers, the Michigan State Police SWAT team, and the Flint Major Crimes Task Force coming in at almost 11 p.m. with these 3 children there, who this family has lived there for 10 years. How was this mistake made? This is absurd. Are they not able to look up where people live? Do they not have a computer at the police force? The door was kicked in and we were told to put our hands up, so we held our hands up, Dunnigan said. She said she tried to ask police what was happening, but didn't get answers. Their phones were taken, and the family, surrounded by armed police, was told to sit on the living room couch, Dunnigan said. Dunnigan's 4-year-old grandson used to want to be a police officer, and now he has been traumatized. That reminds me of when Jordan was interviewing Bianca Austin, Breonna Taylor's aunt, last summer. We heard a similar story that her son used to want to be a police officer, but now that the police murdered his family member, he's terrified. This is something we have to live with every day. And for us to have to be strong for them, we can't be strong all the time. She said she was told by police that a car in the driveway they shared with a neighbor led to the raid of their home, noting that police should have just asked about the car because they didn't know who it belonged to. Attorneys representing the family sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Justice on Tuesday, June 7th, calling for the department to investigate police practices in the city. The family is also calling for the Michigan legislature to ban no-knock warrants. Yeah, I don't understand how this mistake is made. You go talk to the people, or for something like this with the 40 to 50 officers, you surveil them for a while. You don't just go in and traumatize a family. Michigan State Police confirmed in a statement that police executed a search warrant at the home. However, the family says there was no knock before police gained entrance. The search warrant was, in part, based on information provided by a confidential informant who officers found knowingly provided false information to investigators. The MSP has apologized to the family. Oh, great. Thanks, MSP. Thank you. That's so nice of you, you absolute psychopaths. And immediately began to work with both the landlord and the renters to remedy the situation, which, to remedy the trauma that you put on those children, which included paying for repairs to the front door, which was damaged during entry. Wow, what nice folks. This is absurd. Additionally, members of the MSP have met with the family and their attorneys to discuss what occurred and to answer their questions. Many of the other allegations being made are not accurate, nor are they reflective of the policies and procedures of the MSP. Yeah, the MSP, let's just say they have a habit of lying, so be a little skeptical of what they say. Aaron Dunnigan, Renee's son, said he raced to his family's house when he heard there was a heavy police presence. He said he couldn't get answers and didn't know if his family was dead or alive. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that terror? I don't want to live in a world without police, but I wouldn't want to live in a world where police can just come in your house and do what they want, when they want, without any consequences or repercussions, Aaron Dunnigan said. So we are calling for an investigation into policies and how they conduct business in the communities that look like we do. 50 officers, and I only saw one black officer out of the bunch, all in plain clothes with the exception of the SWAT team. No one who looks like my family policing my family. There's something not right with that picture. Aaron Dunnigan said he wants to see justice and reform come out of the situation. And of course, Mayor Sheldon Neely issued a response. So I don't know what to say except, why isn't this all over the news? Why is this allowed to keep happening? Why are these police so psychotic? What happened here? You know, that there's such a breakdown. The 40 to 50 police, the SWAT team, based on a liar's tip, that doesn't normally happen. That's not normal. Something else happened here. I bet you it would not have happened in one of the wealthier towns close to Flint. I'm so disgusted. And this is not the only story like this. I say this all the time. We pick these stories out of these towns and cities, and I have to always emphasize this is not the only story like this. Racism is constant. Racism is everywhere. Racism is systemic. What are we going to do about it? Well, pressure. Put the pressure on. That's what we need to do. We need to hit them in the pocketbooks, put the pressure on. As far as this family, getting the word out. Getting the word out. Mrs. Carter says, I'm from Michigan and this is a normal practice. Yep. And imagine how many times this doesn't make the news, how many times it's covered up, how many times MSP lies, how many times your local police lie, how many times all police forces lie to try to get away with it. The only way that they don't get away with it is public pressure. Why do you think that Derek Chauvin got convicted on all 3 counts? It wouldn't have happened without public pressure. It wouldn't have happened without Black Lives Matter, without Black-led protests.